Today on Collider Jedi Council, Thanos snaps out Kylo Ren. Oh, we're talking about the sounds of Star Wars and Star Wars Celebration. It's just days away. We got a preview. Collider Jedi Council is next.
Zoobly Zoo. Welcome back, everybody. It's Collider Jedi Council, and Zoobly Zoo just does not stop. Ken, you ever heard of the Zoobly Zoo?
I'm familiar with a lot lot of weird kid songs, but not that one. Not that one.
You are missing out. It is a good one.
Well, it's not like we didn't play it 1,000 times on the show this morning. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Zoobly Zoo. I am Kristian Harloff, and we are going to be talking about everything going on in the world of Star Wars. It's Collider Jedi Council, and we are literally 1 week away from hitting Chicago, doing the big 5-day celebration for Star Wars this year. All three of us on this panel will be there. 2 big panels. Let's start off with letting everybody know about the Schmodown panel, known as the Battle of the Masters panel, on Friday, I believe, at 12:15. I believe that is the time. You can look it up on the fan stage. 5 contenders going out, all up on one. I can't even get the words out. They're competing against each other.
Talking is hard.
Thank you. It is hard. And at the end, on Saturday, we'll be playing Alex Damon, and then we will also be on Sunday with this show, July Council. So I can't do Collider Live.
Star Wars Celebration is in July.
Zoobly Zoo.
Jedi Council will be on Sunday. Come see us on Sunday for Collider Jedi Council on the podcast stage. And welcome, everybody. Dorina, you haven't been back on the council for a little bit.
In a while,
I feel like
yeah.
I haven't seen you in a couple hours.
Yes. Yes, I don't miss you.
No.
I actually miss being on the show, mostly because Celebration is next week. And as much as there's a lot of Star Wars content out there and a lot that we talk about, and sometimes we get a little sick of it, I'm really excited about next week. I'm really excited about Celebration. It's one of my favorite events, and it's been 2 years, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Which, this brings up a good point. What are you humming about over there?
I'm looking at her
that he doesn't,
IG88 shirt. I like that shirt.
You like it?
I like that shirt.
It's so good.
But, you know, that's the thing, though, Ken. It's
Are you disagreeing that?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't get sick of Star Wars.
No.
Yeah.
But it's right around. It's right around the corner. There's so much that we're going to be able to see, to do. What are you looking forward to? Not just the panels themselves. We'll get into that. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, other than the big panels, I'm not a huge fan of Thanos.
See?
I'm glad I came on the show today.
Oh,
Pan of Thanos.
Adam, can we take it again for the top? Yeah, so here's, I just love going because it's my favorite convention. As crazy it is, we've talked about it. It is one focused love of Star Wars. Yeah. I love San Diego Comic-Con. I love cons overall. Emerald Con was real fun up there doing your panel.
Yep.
But it's you know, it's all over the place. This is one laser-focused nerddom, and it's a lot of fun to meet all the folks and press the flesh with fans. And we get to meet people that, you know, we watch. My goal this year is to finally, you know, I want to meet Hello Greedo. I don't know if he's there yet. I think Hello Greedo may or may not be at Celebration. Yeah. But last time I stood right next to him, I didn't know because he had the Star Wars, the Stormtrooper helmet on. Yeah. Star Wars, yay! So that's the fun.
There's a lot of that's exactly right. Just getting the emails from a lot of the podcasters that will be there. I know Full of Sith said they're going to be there. There's a lot of different podcasts that I've known for a long time. Just Steele, our buddy Steele will be there, and just having all these people who celebrate and love Star Wars in general. Alex Damon obviously will be there, but then the other side of it too, like, you know, Andy will be back for the Star Wars show, and to see that crew, and just to, like you had mentioned, it's one hub to have all of this just fun geekdom for 5 days. And it looks like from their schedule that they're kind of gearing up to what we thought they were going to do, and they have focus days, and they're not just going to, you might get something. It seems like you're getting news every day, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, especially because we haven't gotten real news, even with CinemaCon recently, you know, and all these other conventions. So clearly they have some big stuff for us planned, I'm sure. But I'm super excited, not just because all our friends are going to be there in the Star Wars, news community, but just walking around the floor. Honestly, everybody's so happy. All the fans there are so passionate about everything, and it's contagious, you know. And also, I've never been to Chicago. I'm very excited. See,
same with me. I was there once, but I really, didn't really get to explore it.
Yeah, it's the first time Chicago proper for me. I've been to Rosemont for a couple conventions, but nah.
Yeah, I've never really actually been able to enjoy it, and we will for 5 days be able to do that. Ken, I've been talking about every time we go to Celebration. I've been talking about sooner or later I was going to get a lightsaber. Do you think I'll do it this year?
You don't have a lightsaber?
Like a new one.
I'm talking about one of like the really amazing crafted ones that they make at Celebration. They have like the actual. You can buy Dooku's handle if you want to. Palpatine's.
But which ones are you talking about? Like the long ones that are kind of.
It's more like the actual
hilt.
It's the hilt.
You don't want the one with. Look, if you're going to look for the hilt.
Yeah, it's the hilt.
Yes, but if I know you are not going to want to transport back as delayed.
Oh, I wouldn't want to do that. No, I'm going for the hilt because I saw one time, and I think it was at the 2015. And I don't know who it was, which vendor it was, but they had all of the hilts of, you name it, Mace Windu. Like, if someone had a Darth Bane one or a Revan one from Knights of the Old Republic, that might be hard for me not to leave.
That's the one you would want.
Yeah, I think so. I think that one would be hard for me.
Be careful getting it through TSA.
The hilt?
I had problems coming out of New York with something that was very clearly a replica of a Star Wars thing, and they took it.
Oh,
they thought it was a weapon?
Yeah, they took it.
What was it?
It was a Han Solo blaster type situation. I get that. But I'm like, it's a Star War. And someone in the JFK airport is now the owner of that. Yeah, so be careful.
Maybe he's a really big nerd fan and just took it from you.
Yeah, there was like 6 of them gathered around me.
Yeah. That one looks like a pistol.
I totally get it.
So,
get it.
Yeah, that's
all I'm saying.
It's not a lightsaber.
All I'm saying, just be careful. Maybe ship it. Just have David Griffin ship it back.
It's an inside joke from 2015. How did that even happen? He was running out.
No, I'll tell you why. Yeah. We meet a lot of listeners at Jedi Council, and they're so generous, and a lot of them are very skilled artists and stuff. And a lot of times they present us with gifts, which is awesome and it's humbling. But we have to travel back with it, and that's sometimes what happens.
That's right. Exactly. David said, "There's a FedEx thing right here. I'll do it for you." I was all right, cool. So
that's sad. I'm sorry to hear that, Ken.
Yeah, we'll ship you back.
Sweet.
All right, let's actually start with some Star Wars movie news here, Ken. There is some stuff going down. Are we going to start with Celebration, or what are we doing?
No, this little quick note here. Our producer, John Rocco, one of the finest producers in the business. Hi, John. He doesn't like rugby. Avengers End Game. You know this picture's coming out. Yeah. Disney. They got a lot on their plate here. It just destroyed all sales records in 6 hours. The Force Awakens pre-sales record on Fandango, gone, destroyed. Makes perfect sense. This is 10 years, 20-plus films in the making. I'm not even worried about Episode 9 or anything competing with this, but it's a testament to when you invest something over a long time and build up this thing, they're doing it right. And it's also interesting, a sub-thing of Disney always kind of having to promote against their other big franchises under their one umbrella.
Yeah, and also call it what it is. Marvel is the new Star Wars at the moment too. Right. It really is, as far as when it comes to when I mean big box office, huge spectacle stuff. Star Wars still is doing that, but Star Wars right now it's every year, but then start to go to 2 years, as we're Marvel 2 to 3 a year. And successfully, it's still making money off doing it because they have a certain narrative that they're doing. So this doesn't surprise me, and I agree with you, Ken. It has no meaning at all as far as what Episode 9 will do. Episode 9 is still going to do very well, especially we haven't gotten a trailer yet. Yep. Like the excitement for Avengers was always there, but then those trailers came out, and there's even more excitement now for it, and this adds into it. But Episode 9 will probably break records as far as December stuff goes.
They'll do all right.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's the end. It's the end of it. So, it doesn't bother me, but I also think that it's great news, obviously, for the franchise.
I don't think it's ever an accurate comparison, I should say, to MCU to Star Wars at this point.
Right.
Star Wars is creating their own new stories. MCU's taking from things that exist and taking it well.
Yes.
Feige and team have done a great job, but this is 20 films in. Let's not forget some of the stumbles with Iron Man 2 or 3 or the first Thor. Star Wars still has to iron out some of those kinks of their big machine. I think they will too. So I'm excited to see down the line what some of this means. I know it's not as connected. That's not what I mean, but just
I know
how they're.
But there's also the quantity, right? Like how many MCU movies have come out in the last 10 years versus with Star Wars you have other Star Wars stuff going on, like the animated series and this type of stuff. But movies use just 3. And clearly, as we know, the last one was divisive, so that's
4.
That's,
five including Solo.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But both of them were divisive, and so but I think once this is actually released, once Avengers is released, I think people their attention is going to go to Episode 9.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially and it's like you said with as far as Disney goes, right? Disney has the most amount of a big budget movies, I don't just mean just quantity. I mean, as far as like what you think can pop, right? With this, they've got Aladdin, Toy Story, Lion King, Star Wars, obviously. So this is marketing machine that they're going to be doing. They have to do it strategically because they are going to be competing with themselves one way or another. Because I think Aladdin comes out after this movie, but it's it's going to do very well, obviously, and it's a different audience, different and same at the same time. Right. But I think that people will get very excited once December hits in episode 9, and the trailers. Once this hits in next week, people are going to start going nuts for the show, depending on what they show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy to think.
Next week,
yeah,
we're going to have a trailer.
I remember what was the trailer we saw for Celebration last time at 2017. I mean, everyone was talking about it, like the poster release. I mean, it was insane.
And we don't even have a title. That's going to be a double whammy news story.
Do you think they're going to release the title this time?
Well, they'll probably do the same way Avengers did it, where Avengers dropped their trailer, and at the end of the trailer, Endgame. So they'll probably do the same thing for Star Wars. It'll be, here's the trailer at the end. I like that. I think that's smart. I think it's revealed because I think it's double.
I have a prediction of the title.
Do you?
I have some sources on the inside.
Is this I can see your face doing that joke thing.
Is it episode 9, IG-88 is the sexiest?
What do you think it is? Is this a breaking
Star
story?
Wars episode 9, Feast for Porgs. Got it. It's a Game of Thrones crossover. Done. See ya. Dad jokes. I'm out of here.
I refuse to watch that.
Yes.
No, it's actually going to be episode 9, the 4th Death Star.
The 4th Death Star.
Yeah.
Will Force be in the title?
How dare you?
Do you think Force will be in the title?
No, because they already did that for the first one.
I think I would still bet Force be in there
somewhere.
The Force goes to sleep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There you go. You just won the bad joke of the day award, and I'm happy
that was
you
the
took
worst dad joke I've ever done. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It wasn't great. All right, let's move on. It's time to.
Now it's time to look at Star Wars Celebration. Things to expect. It's a little bit of a preview. We were talking about it there. All the things. This is our buddy Jermaine Lucier. We're having just a word problem today, aren't we? Yeah. Jermaine Lucier at IO9 has a great little article. All the things we will and probably won't see at Star Wars Celebration. And
what's he think we won't see?
Movies past episode 9, announcements on Dan and Dave, maybe specifics, Rian Johnson, including the TV shows too. That a lot of that stuff we might not see, and I think we agree with that as a team.
I think he's right. I think if it happens, I wouldn't be shocked, but. With the lineup of what they're showing so far, they don't need it because it's also bigger news that they can pop off during the year, and don't get ahead of yourself when you don't need to.
Absolutely. That's one thing they have learned in the past.
Yes.
Hello, Josh Trank. That TV show, and then also mystery video games. There's a lot of talk. You hear things, but I think it's going to be all on Jedi Fallen Order, and don't expect suddenly to get some big video game announcements.
Right. So he's just saying video games, and
that's it. Yeah. As far as what we won't see, which are the big things, we get that tweeted all the time. Do you think we'll get something from Dan and Dave? I think they'll be in their secure bunker beneath Dorne, watching, getting ready for the premiere, going to the public.
Riley, I think on Rule of Two is on the other side of it and thinks that we should. That we are going to hear an announcement for those movies because he thinks because of the leak. I think the leak will be so far removed by the time we get to it already is, and it's not even necessarily a leak. It's just a rumor, and they don't have to confirm or deny or anything yet until they need to. And I think you're right. I think with Benioff and Weiss right now, they are focused on this last season, closing it out. They're going to be interviewed about that. And then they're not going into production on this thing, or at least releasing one for a little bit. So, it's not necessary. I would love it, but I don't think we're going to see it. What do you think, Dorina?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm personally, the question is what panel we're most looking forward to. Like, I as much as I'm excited about episode 9 news as always, and I will be there the day that it's released, and we will all be happy and excited about the premiere, etc. I really am looking forward to new stuff in the Star Wars world. So I'm looking forward to Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That's the panel I'm really interested in because we know very little about it other than the awesome creative team that's behind it. Yep. So that's what I'm most interested in.
I'm pretty excited for that too, and I think that we're gonna. I mean, there's a lot that I'm excited for, but let's just stick on Mandalorian here too, because I think what they're going to do is one of the things that they've led on with this, as far as releases go, and how many different directors that they have, right? I could see a featurette with all the different directors kind of having a little bit of something to say. Maybe we see a little bit of what they're working on. Maybe we don't, but maybe we at least Bryce Dallas Howard, Taika, like all these people that are working on these. And then probably the most that you'll see is from Favreau and Filoni.
Right.
And I think they're on the actual panel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I believe
that
so.
Would make sense, yeah.
But people are asking, will they show a full episode? I don't think they're going to show a full episode, but I think you'll get like 10 minutes. I think you're going to get a good chunk. And even if you don't, even if you get like just a very long 3-minute teaser of the whole series, I'd be cool with that. But I think we're going to learn a lot about the story. That's where a lot of the information is going to come out.
Yeah, and that stuff. I there was a chance I would have thought a full episode, but the panel time frame doesn't make sense. Right. Some extended footage. Yeah, that's what we're. Jermaine is saying. We're excited to see the title of and first footage from Star Wars Episode 9, The Mandalorian. More about the return of Clone Wars and a first look at Star Wars Resistance Season 2. What they have also said, going back to what we won't see, they've gone out of their way, Star Wars, to say no unexpected show announcements.
Right.
No Rebels returns, none of that stuff.
And it's great that they did that, though.
Like, don't get your hope and hype up for that.
Because they never used to do that.
Right.
They let you go in there and go, let them try to figure it out. But by them up top saying, don't expect this because it ain't coming.
Right. So you don't think there'll be any surprises that they'll announce something that actually hasn't been announced, whether it's for like the Disney Plus or another?
Yeah, maybe something along those lines they could, but I don't think but you don't need to. Right. Because as long as the main thing that we had said on this show as far as what Celebration now these days since the acquisition of the company, what they have to do is they have to provide news. They'll provide news with Episode 9. They'll provide news with Mandalorian. They'll provide news with the theme park and with the video games and with Clone Wars. They've got enough, and they're appeasing the fan base that is there, and they're going to appease the fan base that says, "Well, what's next for the future right now?" And they probably will talk about Cassian, which is not coming out for, and you might get like a special announcement, a new cast member or something like that.
Because that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like it's possible that they might announce more spin-off type stuff because
that's what he's saying. They're saying that they say don't.
Yeah. So I'm just saying it's possible in the sense that they have this franchise we're talking about, the MCU, and that's coming to a conclusion. So maybe now they're going to be focused on releasing more one-off things for the Star Wars franchise.
Potentially, but I also think too it's even more specifically for animated shows and Rebels because of the Clone Wars thing, which was a surprise to even the moderator of the panel. Yeah, that was Comic-Con. That kind of stuff. The one thing that it's kind of cool, especially for us, is the books. They'll probably announce it Friday, 5:45 is kind of I think the panel roughly that they'll announce some Friday, some new books, and those are that's not for the big general public, but that gets exciting. We got Master and Apprentice from Claudia Gray coming out soon.
We got a copy of it.
You got copies? Yeah,
you'll have one too.
Great. Don't give one to Dorina. She doesn't read well.
What's reading?
Yeah. You and Ellis will get along well. But
I'm beating him in Words of Friendship.
I'm probably going to read that on the plane, to be honest with you, because I'm very excited to get into that book too. But to find out what else is coming, and will we hear something from Lucino? He hasn't said nothing. You know what? Oh my gosh, I want to give this person credit. Someone tweeted. Someone tweeted about who do you think? Any predictions on the Episode 9 novelization? Which is possible too. And I think they'll do the same thing where that won't come out till after. Right. It'll be.
They want to spoil some stuff.
But December is when it'll come out after the movie comes out.
Well, I was curious about that because I think Alan Dean Foster's Force Awakens novelization was good, but Jason Fry's,
that was more for nostalgia.
It was, and it was great. But Jason Fry's Last Jedi was really good.
I bet you Fry does it.
Yeah, that'd be good, or someone new too. But that's the kind of stuff.
I think they're going to. Fry's going to be there. Fry will be there also. So I bet you they announced that. Yeah, I bet you that's one of the ones that they announced.
I want to meet Jason Fry.
Are they having an authors panel?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. You want to meet? I want
to meet Jason Fry. And I want to talk about
Mets.
The New York Mets. Even though I'm a Yankee fan, favorite player Gary Carter.
Yeah, man, he's a big ball fan. I mean, he's a New York guy.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's The Mandalorian. Like you said, it's going to be a very exciting panel. Obviously, it's Episode 9. That's going to be, and it's smart that they're starting the day off with it. It's the big trailer. Ken, do you think it'll be like they usually do? I don't see why they would change this. You start off. You have whoever's moderating. Did we say that is Warwick Davis?
I think it's Warwick Davis for all the big panels.
He's a great host.
He's great. And
everything he does at Celebration as a host is fantastic.
He's great.
And I hope they have that guy. What's his name? Mike warming up the crowd.
That guy is awesome.
Comic,
He is awesome.
He's great.
Every single time that he's been there for every celebration, and him warming up that crowd, that's a process, man. You keep the energy up.
That is hard,
and he does it every single time, and he doesn't get enough credit. But that panel, I assume, will start with Warwick Davis, getting everybody psyched up. JJ will come out, welcome to return, and Kathleen Kennedy will come out, and then they'll have the conversation about what it takes, what it's going to do, why JJ came back, like blah blah blah, and then they'll start having the cast come in, and we'll see whichever cast was announced,
right?
And we'll see stills. They'll talk about it for a bit, and then they'll tease us like, "All right, thanks, guys. Well, of course we have a trailer." And
why are you spoiling the panel for us?
That's what happens every time.
But then being in that room is so exciting.
It's the best.
Yeah.
And so then we'll have the trailer will debut. The place will lose their minds. They'll show it again, and then everybody will be breaking down the trailer, looking at what does this mean? What does that mean? Still framing everything.
I wanted to give this guy full credit.
Yes.
His name is Mark Daniel.
Okay.
Mark Daniel.
What does he say?
Look at Mark Daniel. Good dude.
Oh, yes.
He is just spectacular, and I think you're right. He deserves more credit.
Yeah, Mark Daniel's great.
I hope so. I don't know if he's going to be at this one, but
He'll be there. I mean, he's
great.
it'd be unless he's not available. It'd be silly not
Right.
to. He's been there for every single. Even before the acquisition, I think he was warming up the crowds and everything.
Yeah,
for
yeah, he's
panels.
been doing-
He's great. So I think they'll bring him back for sure. But is there anything else that we're obviously the floor to see what's going on the floor, see what other events that they kind of set up the way.
I love the floor. The floor at every con. We try to make I try to make a trip once, and you and I used to do the traditional Sunday Comic Con. Let's do it one more time. You and I walked around Emerald City Comic Con. I just love hitting the floor.
Yeah.
Even if it's like faces in your face because it's so close. I just love seeing everything on display. That's where Ellis and I ran into the folks at Emerald Tree and Emerald Moon and Tree and Endor who make those life-size Ewoks and the droids and everything. You just get to see all the people who put so much passion and their own skills into celebrating Star Wars. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, whether it's not just the people that are selling things, but that are very creative, but cosplay, just walking around and seeing all these amazing costumes, taking photos in front of
Are you going to be
ships.
dressed as a happy person there?
You mean a Jedi? I'm going to be smiling too much, so people aren't going to recognize me.
It's true. Wasn't I was with you, I think, at one of the, it might have been the last one, and that, just long parade of all the cosplays.
You and I got caught in the Mando
and it was
parade.
great.
Yeah. We were, trying to cross, and all of a sudden, we'll wait. There's a couple Boba Fett's walking by, and it was, every Mandalorian cosplayer in the world.
It went on forever.
Padme's
and everything. Yeah,
Were you guys there that year that, I think it was Orlando a long time ago, where they had a bar upstairs, and you walked in, and it was cold, so it was Hoth themed, and they had an ice sculpture of a tauntaun. It was crazy.
Wasn't that in 2015?
Might have been
I think so.
I think it was in Anaheim. Yes, it was Anaheim.
Yeah,
because I've only been to the Anaheim one and the Orlando one. So this will be.
I also didn't know you as well back then. I thought you were really mean.
Did you think she was mean?
She's scary.
Really?
Look at that face.
I mean, I am wearing the scariest.
Yeah. Her favorite character is a heartless droid.
It's
He's the
truth.
Coolest.
I just tell. I mean, I don't know if I've ever told it on the air. I've told you many times before, but I told you the first time I kind of really met her was at the Force Awakens.
I've heard her version of that story. Yeah.
But so we walked up and we were talking, and Ellis was wearing that white suit.
Oh, right. Yeah. I remember that.
There was nothing on except white.
And it was dark in there. You could still
white.
see him.
Well, that was the thing, because we were sitting, we were having this conversation. She's like, "You're going to lose your friends," and I go, "I'm not going to lose my friends." She's like, "What do you mean?" And I go, "Watch." And she's like, "What?" And I go, "Watch." And then Ellis just walks through all the way down with white, and she started cracking up. He's like,
with
"Oh my god!"
With the biggest smile on his face because Nathan's dad, Mark Hamill, had just recognized him. So he was so happy about it.
Yeah, that, and then he also took a picture with George Lucas, and he was geeking out.
Yeah.
But it was a fun time. But that's why I'm really looking forward to us just being able to relax. There's relaxing.
It's gonna be busy.
It'll be busy, but moments like you were just saying, though, those walking through the parade when we're off of just. Because we'll be doing videos for this show, we'll be doing coverage for this show, and we're working for Schmodown. You're doing comedy, but we'll also have that time to just be a fan and to be able to walk around, and that's what I'm looking forward to. You guys, how many of you guys are watching? Well, whether it's live or on the replay, are you coming to Star Wars Celebration? If you are you going to be checking out the Jedi Council panel on Sunday or even on Friday for the Star Wars Schmodown? Because I'm always curious, because we can find some fans, especially at Celebration, who eventually would be able to challenge an Alex Damon, because there are a lot of people. Somebody watching this show right now that is probably the best Schmodown Star Wars player that we've ever seen. No, Roka, you can't play in everything. And then we would love to see you on Saturday night to see, who's going to win that match, because 900 people screaming and yelling. And Draco and Snyder are going to be going nuts over there. So you can get the tickets, by the way, at theschmodownlive.com. Please do. There's about 30 tickets left, so with not much time left. So please go and check it out.
I was going to bring up the theme park really quick because,
that's part of it. That's a big
excited
panel
about that too. I forgot because there's so much Star Wars.
Do you
stuff
like going
coming
to
up.
theme parks?
Yes. Well, not when there's people, but I love rides and food, and I really want to drink blue milk.
Yeah, the blue and green milk options are going to be good.
And hopefully some, instead of chicken fingers, maybe they have pork fingers. So
yeah, well, that'll be the big story of the day, right? Is that Saturday is when that panel is, Ken?
Saturday's the panel.
Saturday's the panel. So that's going to be that. And what's the big ones of Saturday? Is it that in the video game? Is that Clone Wars?
Yeah, that is it. That's it. Because Mandalorian's Sunday.
Mandalorian is Sunday. So are we getting video game plus Clone Wars plus
Galaxy's Edge is Saturday?
Is that all three? That's a big day.
It's a big day.
It's a big day.
A lot of stuff.
It's going to be my floor day, though.
Yeah. You're not going to go to the panel for the Galaxy's Edge? No.
I think I've heard enough about it that I'm just ready to wait 2 years to get to go to it.
See, I want to learn about it. I mean, there's things that I've heard through people who've visited and other things, rumors, but I want to see the actual presentation to have them talk about all the stuff that's
maybe they'll show actual video of the locations, not just photographs, because I think we just got photographs, correct? So,
I got photos and photoshopped with crowds of people.
They'll have a lot more to show. They'll probably have a presentation package to show because the thing opens a soft open in a month. Which is crazy. Which is crazy. So that's going to be good. And then, are you sure the Clone Wars is Saturday?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure.
I closed the article.
I appreciate it. It's good. At least you're honest. Let's say it is Saturday. It's a big day. And even if it's not, if it's on Sunday, then you got Mandalorian and Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I bet you Mandalorian and Clone Wars are on Sunday because Dave Filoni will only have to really focus on that one day. He likes being on. He's walking. I don't know if he's going to do it anymore. Yeah. Because in 2015 he was walking around on the floor.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's no way that he can do that now because he was walking on 2015. He was walking around and I remember I stopped him and then a couple other people just but nobody really was noticing him. I think it's impossible.
Well, and it's just, it's because of the new generations, right? Because as much as we grew up with all the older movies, there's people out there that grew up with Clone Wars, and then they know these creators and they treat them like
it's just they are fans. Whether they want to or not. And I think Dave does want to. They're known more by fans. I think when you see Leland Chee or Pablo Hidalgo or Matt Martin or those kind of folks, you recognize them as someone you've seen on a Star Wars show, for an interview, and there's more notoriety whether they want it or not. So
it's like being a fan of your favorite team. If you're a hardcore fan, you know who the general managers are, you know who the coaches are, you know who the third base coach is, you know who all these people are. If you're a really hardcore fan, so the hardcore fan of Star Wars, the real hardcore fan, knows who those people are and will say, "Oh my God, Pablo, take a picture of this." And you're right. I think some of them are probably like, "I just want to kind of chill out," but of course I know how respectful I want to be to the fans, and they expect it at Celebration. Come on,
that's the reason you're up for it.
Yeah. And you won't see Favreau walking the floor, though. I can't imagine it.
You think so? I mean, walking the floor is different. Yeah,
unless they wear a mask.
But if he's got a team around, he can do a masking. But
he's hard to do. He's a big dude.
He's a big dude. Yeah. I could see him though trying.
I could see him. You know what? Because I think that right after they had Gareth Edwards was walking around right after the Rogue One panel. He was walking the floor. I think that some of those guys will want to walk the floor. So I take that back. I think
it's also weird too. Like I was at. It might have been San Diego, point being, I saw Elijah Wood walking the floor, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, that's Elijah Wood, but I think people just, hey, that guy looks like Elijah Wood, and no one assumes that he'd be doing it, and it's freaking Frodo running around trying to get to
and it's like
art table.
It's like Nerd Vegas when you're there.
It's
like there's so much going on that it's like you're not even looking at people. It is though. That's why I like it so much. It's not just the cosplay. It's the ships that you take photos with. There's there's an Ewok walking around. It's awesome. Highly recommend you guys go.
Well, that's why I want to see what they're going to do for Chicago, because I was. Only because of selfish and lazy purposes, I was really hoping it was going to be in Anaheim again. Because that was the rumor. Yeah, the rumor that it was going to be in Anaheim.
They got the new convention center rebuilt. Let's be honest, the trip down the 5 is a lot easier than a flight to Chicago.
Well, that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be Anaheim, but then once we found out it was Chicago, we made the most out of it. And
it's going to be
the theaters and all that. And
cool
because I've never gone, Chicago's a great city, and then you just embrace it and go, let's just go to Chicago and have some fun, because everybody's getting excited to go.
Yeah.
So
I also hope I get to see in Anaheim. I got to see a stormtrooper just eating in the food court, and that's my favorite part of any convention.
It is the best.
Just seeing people in cosplay eating.
Yeah,
There's nothing like
the
it.
Dark Lord Sauron chowing down on nachos.
Yeah.
Yes.
it's gonna be a blast, man. I can't wait. So all right, let's move on.
A couple things here. We can get through some of it. You guys kind of broke a story this week. Peter Serafinowicz on Collider Live saying he was considered. I actually didn't see the clip. Sorry, busy week.
Yeah, it's all right.
That he was considered for.
Oh no, not considered.
So what's the story?
He actually
He used to be the voice.
Well,
right?
I know he used to be.
So he was the voice of Darth Maul in the Phantom Menace,
Yeah.
and his description of how George Lucas, he said George basically just looked at him and said, I don't know, make him sound evil.
He famously told the story in Patton Oswalt's podcast years ago, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
George is like,
Make him evil. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So anyway, what he told me was that he, I said, did they ever approach you about doing it? He's like, I went into Pinewood and shot all the dialogue. He's like, I shot all of it, and I went in there, and it was going to take a bunch of people, a bunch of my friends to the movie right before it comes out. Like, the premiere had just happened. He wasn't invited.
Yeah.
So then the movie's about to come out, and he gets a phone call or an email. I can't remember which one it was, and he said, "Oh yeah, we decided to go with Sam Witwer because it's continuity wise and all that." And he's like, "All right," and he didn't see the movie, but it was it was interesting that I think they should have told him a lot earlier. I mean, I understand why.
Yeah,
I think, and he said it himself too, that it made sense to have Sam in it because Sam is a little more consistent now in the Darth Maul voice when you connect it. Because that movie, the Rebels movie, the Solo is connected more so to the Clone Wars series than it is the Phantom Menace.
Right.
So it makes more sense to have Sam as the voice. You can still use...
And unless you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, I mean, the only reason I knew it was Peter was because I'm a Spaced fan, right? Like, because of the show. But I think most people think of Darth Maul afterwards as Sam Witwer.
Right now...
And it's just because like, they're both really good. They're both excellent voice actors.
Yeah, he set the tone for what it is.
Yes, most people don't know that he was the original voice.
Yeah.
So I can't remember who I was
most
talking
people
to.
couldn't compete in the movie Trivia Schmodown.
Well, I was talking to somebody yesterday. I can't remember who it was, and they said they were like, "Wait a minute! I thought Ray Park wasn't the original voice." I was like, "Oh no, that was Peter."
Yeah, he's got much higher.
Yeah, it was Peter. And although it would have been cool, I just think it made more sense, and I liked the fact that Sam was in it, obviously. But it just made more sense. But it's cool that he went in there and they still had him read for it.
Yeah,
but hey, that's the actor's life. How many times do friends of ours watch me Friday on NCIS? Turns out I was cut. They didn't tell me.
You can watch that clip though if you want to see it. It's on the Collider podcast channel. Just go to Collider Podcast and you can look at the full interview and check it out.
Couple things here quick in the movie news thing that might spawn some fun conversations. I know we got a shorter show today, a little bit here. Benioff and Weiss, we know they're preparing for something. We don't know yet. We just rumors, speculations, all that kind of stuff. But Game of Thrones Season 8 begins next week. The premiere was for the big gala event was this week. A lot of actors being interviewed, and Star Wars would come up. And Liam Cunningham, who plays Davos Seaworth, Sir Davos Seaworth, the Onion Knight, talked about how George Lucas visited the set of Season 8 of Game of Thrones, talked to Dan and Dave.
That's awesome.
Liam praises their storytelling ability, their world building, and, talks, I wouldn't say gives any hints, but just kind of, I'd like to be in a Star Wars with Dan and Dave. And I think there's a lot of crossover we've talked about because of the casting. Nina Gold cast both. They cast a lot of UK-based actors. That's why you see a lot of the
crossover. She's casting their movie?
I think she's doing, I don't know. But
why wouldn't they, though?
That's why you see a lot of, in Force Awakens, Last Jedi, all these films, you see like, hey, that's a Game of Thrones person. It's because they're casting from the same pool.
And they've been comfortable with her, so why not?
Yeah.
But so it just who for Game of Thrones who hasn't been in a Star Wars movie would you like to see?
We said it before. Kit Harington is one, and
Kit, and he's
made it clear that he wanted. I didn't even think about him.
He'd be great.
He looks like a damn wise Jedi.
He does. He looks like Obi-Wan's cousin.
And beards like that are sexy.
They are. That's a sexy Jedi beard for sure.
I would.
But
love
also,
to see him.
I am not going to have a problem with any Game of Thrones actor being in the series because it's clear, whatever you think of the show, whether you like it or not, it is a quality show, and everyone involved is excellent. And this guy, like, he was able to play a great character so well.
Well, you know what's great about that also is because there'll be a thirst for Game of Thrones because the prequel's not coming out for a little bit, right? For the Game of Thrones movie. This will have that thirst if you start to if you announce these movies are coming out, and then, by the way, He's coming back.
Yeah.
Kit's going to be in there. And let people say, oh, this is going to be Game of Thrones or Star Wars. Yeah. Okay, I'm in.
I mean, there's as far as leads, I mean, I'd be really happy with Maisie Williams kind of in a lead. Him as Jedi Charles Dance. Someone tweeted me the other day.
Man.
Yeah, Jack Gleason's great.
Bring back
Redemption
Jack.
for Jack Gleason.
Yeah.
I would love to see Richard Dormer, who's Sir Beric Dondarrion. His voice is one of the best voices out there.
Right.
It's like instant ASMR, but it's epic. It's that. But yeah, Maisie Williams, Natalie Emmanuel Masende, Jacob Anderson, who is a Grey Worm. There's just the list goes on and on. It's a big. That's my guy. If I get Ser Jorah with a lightsaber.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that sounds awesome.
That's what I mean. So I think that because of that, you're going to see, and you should. But I said it this morning, Ken. I want to see what you think about this as far as one of the directors, because I think of how kind of tied in he is with Lucasfilm already, with Rebels and being friends with that regime. I think I think Simon Kinberg is someone who's going to direct one of these movies. What do you think?
I think that's a great choice. He's very steeped in Star Wars and is responsible for a lot of stuff we love in Rebels, and he's part of that there. As far as directors, I'm typing in Michelle MacLaren, who was supposed to do Wonder Woman, and then they kind of fell apart, and Patty Jenkins came in. She's done a lot of Game of Thrones stuff and done a lot of the great character moments. And as they world build, you got Miguel Sapochnik and Alan Taylor and all these guys who've done the big battles in Star Wars. So I'd love that. But if you're going to go with Game of Thrones directors, give me Michelle MacLaren, who's done some of the smaller, intimate character pieces.
That's good.
And the one I keep saying is, I am so ready for Ramin Djawadi to do Star Wars music.
Yes.
Which would be great. My thing is, I got to be honest, I like Simon Kinberg. I like him a lot. I think he will be tapped. I don't necessarily want to see him do it yet. I haven't seen his movie. I haven't seen the new X-Men movie, and I don't know how it is. I might change my tune and go, he absolutely should do it after I see it. But I would like to see some different people. But I also, the one thing, TV's different. TV, you can have all these different directors, and you can carry out the narrative of Favreau and Filoni the whole way through.
Right.
Now, you can say, because Benioff and Weiss, they're not directing these things. They're basically the showrunners of this 3-movie saga, that they are the showrunners, and it's kind of the same thing. But I almost want to see one director work with them. Yeah.
Well, who's a big Star Wars fan that I love as a showrunner is Brian Fuller. He did everything from Pushing Daisies to American Gods. He's done really good shows, and he's a huge fan. So
Star Wars?
Yes, I see him I say hi to him at every Star Wars premiere.
Yeah,
he's always there. And same with Noah Hawley, who did Fargo and Legion, right? The X-Men show.
She's a big fan of Star Wars also?
Noah Hawley. Yeah. So I don't know if he's a fan, but I know he's doing an X-Men movie. I think he was supposed to do Doctor Doom or something like that. But those are great showrunners that really care about the character-driven stories, and that's what I'm interested in seeing, like you were saying.
Be great. Yeah, a lot of choices there. Final little story if you want it here. Popular Mechanics, my dad's favorite magazine next to Consumer Reports, ran a little story online about the real-world stuff behind Star Wars iconic sounds. We know Ben Burtt gets all the credit, and probably not enough, but he goes into sounds here. And, check it out. It's a great article. Sounds are very important. I've just recently written about a couple of them in the book I got coming out, Why We Love Star Wars. Sounds are important. But I don't know if I've ever had a conversation with you, definitely not you, about your favorite sounds in Star Wars. The TIE Fighter.
Yes.
That's featured in this article.
That's hard to top.
It's got that scream.
It's so
just
good.
that scream because it's
do it.
I can't do it, but it really the one
sound like Chewbacca.
Sound like a dying porg.
Right. The Force Awakens one worked really right in the opening scene.
You know what's so great about that?
Yeah.
Is it sputters, and we've never really heard that.
Right.
No, that's true.
That's
the worst sound. I'm not Ben Burtt.
But I know where you were going. But yeah, that's an interesting article. I want to see that. And see what other scenes.
Yeah. No. What other sounds you like?
I mean, the lightsaber
fights.
I mean, that's a classic. But it's
when it screams to life. That's
we've all and we've all grown up like playing. Now that there's real life lightsabers, but when we were kids, I mean, we're playing with our pillows or whatever. Like we're all doing the zoom. Like everybody knows that noise. Zoom.
That's great.
Thank you.
Utidi.
Udini.
How about you?
Seismic charges in Attack of the Clones. Blast. Seismic charges.
And that sound that Django's thing made in Clone Wars.
Ben Burtt describes it as an audio black hole, and I just love that sound. The classic sounds. The blasters. Pew, pew,
it's a cool article. I'll check that out for
check
sure.
it out. Popular Mechanics is not just for your dad to check on his microwave.
You know, one of the things that actually got sent us yesterday was it's a book with you would love this book. It's all the aliens and lists of like all the aliens. I let my daughter take a look at it, and she's reading it this morning when she woke up too. And I was like, hey, don't worry, you can finish it later. She's like, I'm not gonna be able to finish this today. She's like, it's gonna take me a month or so. She goes,
God bless her.
Who knows?
Yeah. She's like, don't pressure me, Dad. I'm really going to immerse myself in this alien
she
book.
will. I told her I was going to quiz her on it. She's like, don't quiz me now. It's going to take me at least a month. It was pretty awesome. But anyway, that book is out, and I was excited to get that. I'm going to check that out. There's some in there that I'm so curious to see how many you would get to just be able to name by looking
aliens?
at them. Yeah.
I got to be honest with you. It's a weakness.
It's a weakness.
You know who's really good at that? Scrimshaw.
Oh.
Scrimshaw played the card game, the 1989 West. I did not play it, so he is a just machine on alien species and stuff.
So you're going to be calling that Fatal Five way.
Fatal Five.
You know what I should do is I should bring that book, and we should get some audible questions from that book.
You guys should also play some Star Wars sounds and have people guess.
See which one, what it is. I know you would have done it time.
Or scores.
It's only an hour of the panel.
I know.
Anyway, all right, we're moving on.
That's it.
All right, let's move on. It's time because it's a short show today. What's the deal with canon? Anything going on in the world of canon besides that wonderful book that we got, Ken?
That wonderful book. I'm looking forward to reading that book there. I finished Queen Shadow. We talked about that a little bit. Love Queen Shadow. It is very different. We talked about when Brian Volk-Weiss was here. Vader comic, Dark Visions 2, Star Wars 64. As always, a little behind on those. But here is this little rumor. Reading from Star Wars Newsnet. They're collecting some of the rumors out there about the Mandalorian. There's some about characters, everything, but the big thing is that it's potentially, this is totally, we don't know, already renewed for season 2 on Disney Plus.
I saw that. Yeah.
Which is not surprising on one hand. Two, I hadn't totally dug into the story, just Mandalorian so far. I was always concerned, was this a limited series, a one-time thing? I don't know. So again, we don't know, but speculation about it. You want to see more Mandalorian without even knowing?
Yes.
Guys.
It's because this is a new territory for Star Wars that we've never. The thing is, because of Star Wars, Disney Plus, and because of the announcement of the series, people weren't really talking like. There was a time when we were supposed to get a Star Wars series, and there were going to be no movies. It was going to be this. They wrote 100 episodes to this thing. We didn't know where it was going to go. Ronald D. Moore from Battlestar Galactica, the reboot was going to be involved, and all that. And we were like, what's this going to be all about, right? And it just never came to fruition, obviously, because of things that where we are today, right? But now that this is happening, and that we're getting more development inside of these characters, to know that they're looking forward than it's not just one series of 6 that they could, if this is true, that we get a season 2. Yeah, how many seasons can we get? I think this goes back to Roxy's point, is where she's a limited series can mean anything, right? Limited series can mean
one season,
or it could mean 4 seasons of 5 episodes or 6 episodes, or just 3 seasons. It's going to be 3 seasons of 6 episodes apiece, and it's a limited series. Yeah. It's just definition is always different. So,
yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Ken? Do you think that we should do that? There should be season 2?
I think that's interesting. It's like again going to Game of Thrones conversation. Like HBO didn't renew it right away.
Right.
Like there was, I don't think there was doubt, but there was also wasn't official. There was for the first couple seasons. It was always like, we're going to get a season 3. Like really, there's doubt. But there's a lot of business that goes into this stuff. A lot of business that doesn't get factored into, who can be in the show, cast. That's why I think there's a lot of VO in this series, a lot of voice acting and performance capture stuff, because the budgets that Favreau wanted were a little less than maybe he thought. That's some stuff floating out there in the ether. So it would make some sense. Let's lock it up. We like what I do take that as a vote of confidence. We like what we saw. But we'll
what
see.
About you, Dorina?
I mean, I hope that, I know that these people are business decision makers, and they're focusing on, they have to plan out a series, and I get that, but I just hope that their decisions are based most on what affects the story in a positive way. Right. Like if instead of extending a TV series because they're making a lot of money, I just hope that they end when they should.
Right.
And we get a good character story.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's because I know who's involved. I mean, you look at Filoni. Filoni knew what he wanted to do with Rebels. He knew where he was going to take it. And Clone Wars, he always knew where he wanted to go, but he couldn't, and now he can.
Right.
So he knows where to tell a story, how he wants to tell his story. And I know Favreau is the executive producer on this thing. He's the main guy, but I think they work together. They're going to have collaborative conversations about this is where it starts. To me, that's always the best storytelling, is when you figure out the ending first.
Exactly.
Like, how do we get to, this is where we know we want it to end. How do we get there? And now we have 6 seasons to do it.
Exactly.
Let's do it. That's as opposed to, there's a lot of times when people like, and I think that right now, until we see episode 9 to confirm or deny this, but I think right now there's never a clear plan of, it starts here with Rey and then it's going to end here. It's just like, that movie's this story, this movie's this story, and this movie's this story. Yeah. But I don't think The Mandalorian will be or should be that, and it won't be.
Right. Unless it's, all about IG-88, then have it forever, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
All right, so should we get into some tweets here?
Couple questions here.
All right,
we got about 5 minutes left. Let's
5 minutes left, and we're going to talk to you guys. It's time to tweet out, so you hashtag Collider Jedi Council. We found a couple, and Ken, let's do 2.
Yeah, I know you both might not have taken a deep dive into this comic series, but Kyle McDonough, he asked this question. What do you think about an anthology TV series similar to the Age of comic series, where each episode focuses on a different character in the Star Wars universe? And who would you want to see covered with a series like that? The series is very good. Jodie Hauser is writing a lot of the early batches, and I think they're starting to get ones that she hasn't written. She's one of the best Star Wars writers today, and she in the comics, but I think overall, because she's bringing in little tiny things that are real fun connecting the characters. So
it's just like a limited series of these kind of side characters?
It's like one Dooku, one Grievous, one Padme.
And it's like 8 episodes, but each episode is...
so would you see a show, something like that, featuring these type
for one character per episode?
I mean, Darth Bane, you would probably bring up, but I think that would be pretty cool. Even though his story could be much more elaborated and in something longer, but because it's characters that aren't popular amongst the big movie audience, those would be more interesting.
I agree with that. I said it just depends on if they're going to do Bane. It's just, where's the timeline lie for the rest of these shows, right? And I don't think they would explore Bane yet, because until they announce that they go back into the Republic a little bit more. I think Quinlan Voss would be interesting.
Voss would be great.
Voss would be awesome. Same thing with Aurora Sing.
Aurora Sing. Maybe her and Beckett's final confrontation.
That's what I was going to say. Let's see how it finally goes down.
Yeah.
Why do I always say Aurora Sing every single time? But when I say Aurora Sing in Solo, it was like that kind of fist bump moment.
Oh, it's great little stuff. It's great little stuff.
Same. Maybe we finally get Sloane. We just
like a race. I mean, we'd want a Ray Sloane series of 12 movies, but
good way to introduce her.
Infant's Nest. You could bring Forrest Whitaker for Saw Gerrera before Rogue One, but after Rebels, where he gets all messed up and kind of play around. There's the possibilities are endless, and that's what's fun about it.
Yes. All right, let's do one more.
And that's maybe where we get the IG-88 thing. All righty here. Justin Allen at JustStore81 says, there was not much love for the prequels at first, but I feel that has changed these days. As someone who admires both standalone films, Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars film. What redeeming qualities do you think the standalones have that will be appreciated in time? The prequels, no doubt, they caused some opinions back in the day, but there's also a lot of feelings of love, especially for the younger generation. Time has a way of changing things, including seasons of television shows, books. What do you think?
Well, as far as the prequels go, that's true. One of the main things is also, said this a million times, definitely the generational thing. There are people who were introduced to the prequels as their Star Wars movies. Those people have grown up now. They love them. And the love for those movies have gotten louder as those people have grown up. That's one thing. The second thing is that for people that were hold the original trilogy, to their hearts and be like, that's not our Star Wars.
Like me.
Right? Yeah, but the thing is, even with us, the one reason that we were all like, oh man, the prequels are so bad, is that we thought that was it. We thought we were never getting Star Wars, and that's the way that they ended it. Now it's part of the franchise. It's just part of the thing that is just like, okay, look, there are some really great qualities about the movies. There's some stuff inside of the prequels that really work. There's other things that
I've always liked the soundtrack.
The soundtrack's really good. And
Revenge of the Sith is my favorite score.
Yeah. Really? And there's story elements there that I still really enjoy, and there's other things that I don't. But I still recognize it as part of the franchise. Now, as far as the standalone movies go, I think Rogue One will always hold up, and I think the main thing will always be that Vader scene.
Yes.
For sure. And even the way that they tie in Tarkin to it, and Leia. And then Solo. Solo will have, there will be some things depending on what happens with Lando and how Lando plays out, there'll be more stuff inside of that that connects the Lando story.
Yeah, and I mean, personally, I might be in the minority except for the guy who asked the question, but
no, you are
in general. But Rogue One is actually my favorite out of all the new movies, no matter what. You're so dumb. You guys are so dumb.
John got what I almost
so dumb.
Rogue is going, no.
Yeah, he's like,
no.
Gracias.
Rogue is going, cut this.
Good thing this is live. Anyway.
There's that comedian brain in you.
Yes. I want to say how much I love Rogue One, and you ruined it.
I'm
And you
so sorry.
ruined it.
Thank you.
Get that Jedi beard off.
Hashtag.
This just in. We're looking for a replacement for Ken Napzok. Hashtag,
all right, we gotta go.
Hashtag not my Ken.
She was going to a great spot.
Right.
Anyways,
when Cody's coming in to flash us the car, we gotta get out of here.
We are done.
All right.
Anyways,
Way to
Rogue
end the
One
show,
is great.
Ken. Yeah.
So and it'll hold up in the future, and that Vader scene is awesome.
The third act Rogue One is great.
Yes.
Solo, I think people who slept on it, I'm not asking you to love it. I'm just saying have fun with it. And I think over time, you'll be able to, when the pressure's off things that are new, you look back with a little different light.
Thanks for the comment. All right, Ken. So we will see you in Celebration. Dorina, we will also see you at Celebration. And we hope to see a lot of you guys at Star Wars Celebration. It begins next Thursday. So obviously, no Jedi Council on Thursday. I do believe we will have our episode up on Sunday. So look for that as our recap for the entire celebration will happen on that Sunday. That's it, guys. Make sure that you check out the schmodownlive.com. Get your tickets for Saturday night. Come check us out if you have a badge on Friday or Sunday. Cannot wait to talk about Celebration when we get back. Thank you for joining us. May the Force be with you always.